When you're battling an army of judgy McJudgy pants, they have so much firepower. So how do you combat them? With self-compassion. Yo, how do you do that? Mended light. Hello, everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit about why judgment is so detrimental to our mental and emotional health, especially self-judgment, and how to counter that with self-compassion, what that specifically looks like. Alicia.
Yeah.
I would like to show you a clip from Ted Lasso. Are you ready?
It's like every single one of these clips is new to me because they are.
Well, if TV clips came in book form, you'd be all caught up. Anyways, let's go.
Anytime.
Okay, so here's the setup.
Okay.
Ted Lasso is an American football coach coaching soccer, right? Or football around the rest of the world in England.
Yeah. Which makes so much more sense. Like, why can't America just get on board and call football soccer and soccer football? Anyway, Ted Lasso.
Because in our football, they sock each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so long story short, Ted Lasso is playing a game of darts to get his boss's ex-husband to leave her alone. Because she got the soccer team, the football team. I'm just going to call it soccer because we're American, but because she got the soccer team in the divorce.
Okay.
Just to hurt him, her ex-husband.
Oh, that's hurtful.
Well, no, he had so many affairs and was verbally abusive and a monster.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a gaslighter to the max and a narcissist. And anyways, so, but she took the soccer team in the divorce to hurt him. Mm-hmm. And now he's flaunting his very young and very attractive wife and saying, well, I lost the team, but she, with his money, my young wife, just bought stock in the team. And now we're co-owners and we're going to be joining you in the owner's box.
Oh, wow.
And
that sounds real miserable.
And I'm going to tell the press exactly how I think you're doing when it comes to managing the team.
Wow. So that's good. The conflict continues long after the divorce.
Most of the British people so far see Ted as a stupid, ignorant American who is foolishly optimistic, like Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. That's how they see him.
Okay.
And Ted challenges the ex-husband to a game of darts, right? And if Ted loses, then the ex-husband gets to help create the playbook for the team.
Okay.
And if Ted wins, then the ex-husband has to stay out of the owner's box and leave Ted's boss alone.
Ooh, high stakes.
Yeah, so here we are.
All over a game of darts.
And an ex-husband is happy to oblige because he thinks Ted's an idiot.
Good luck. You know, Rupert, guys have underestimated me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. But then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental." I like that. So I get back in my car, and I'm driving to work, and all of a sudden, it hits me. All them fellas that used to belittle me, not a single one of them were curious. You know, they thought they had everything all figured out, and so they judged everything, and they judged everyone. And I realized that they're underestimating me. Who I was had nothing to do with it. Because if they were curious, they would ask questions. You know? Questions like, have you played a lot of darts, Ted? Which I would have answered, yes, sir. Every Sunday afternoon at a sports bar with my father from age 10 until I was 16 when he passed away. Barbecue sauce. Good game, Rupert.
Be curious, not judgmental. Now, we could do an entire video on the virtues of curiosity. In fact, we're going to touch on that in a little bit. But judgment hurts us. It hurts us when we limit our views of other people. It hurts us when we think we've got everything figured out, so we stop learning and we stop growing. And when it comes to ourselves, judgment hurts us because we put ourselves down the way Ted's bullies put him down.
Yeah. And neurologically speaking, we cannot judge ourselves and grow at the same time. Like, it's scientifically impossible, right?
Yeah.
And so to meet our judgment with self-compassion, is the antidote to what keeps us stuck.
And I love the be curious, not judgmental, because on my journey towards self-compassion, which has been a major focus of my self-work these past few years, being curious about myself instead of like the dark parts, the parts that I keep hidden under rocks, the weaknesses that I didn't want anybody to see, I found those shameful.
Because you had attached beliefs and meaning to certain types of behavior.
Yeah.
Well, this is what it says about me.
Yeah.
And I have to hide it.
This strong judgment instead of being curious about why am I that way, right? And is it something that if I detach judgment from it, I can actually see as a virtue, or is it something that okay, I still want to change, but I can approach it from a curiosity of why do I respond this way? Why do I do things this way? Instead of shaming or judging myself.
Well, and it very well could have been a coping mechanism that used to keep you safe that is now keeping you stuck. Right? And judging that coping mechanism as now a bad thing keeps you stuck in what is no longer serving you.
Yeah. So, getting unstuck requires us to have compassion and love for ourselves. And how do we practice it? Well, there's 3 specific keys from one of your all-time favorite books.
Okay, so seriously, guys. So there's this book called Good Morning, I Love You, and it's on self-compassion. And in that book, she references another book by Kristen Neff, also called Self-Compassion. And so it's my 2 favorite books on self-compassion, and the one references the other. So it's in both of them. Read one or both, it's great. Or go to our membership site and we go over it in our podcast and you can hear us discuss it. Anyway, the point is it has 3 key components. It's mindfulness, kindness, and common humanity. And that is how we create self-compassion. And we're going to talk a little bit more about each one of those.
So speaking of mindfulness, that word is bandied about quite a bit.
Yeah. What does it even mean?
Exactly. I think we need a clarifier on what mindfulness actually is.
Yeah. So mindfulness is a non-judgmental witness state of whatever it is we're going through, right? Because we need to see clearly what is causing us pain before we can heal it. And that makes a lot of sense if we're like talking about a broken arm or a fever or physical pain. But we don't understand or apply that principle to emotional or mental pain, right? We need to see our pain clearly before we can heal it. But in seeing that pain clearly, it causes a visceral reaction. Yeah. It causes the pain to come up. And so seeing that pain clearly, but meeting it in a soothing, comforting way is the solution.
And you're so good at this. One of the things that Alicia does when she is treating herself with compassion and soothing herself is she refers to herself as darling.
Or dear.
Or dear.
I tell myself I'm doing such a good job. And even over stupid stuff like I don't like to drive long distances. I hate it. I lose patience, especially not with a car full of kids. And so anytime I'm having to do something, I'm like, this is really crappy and I hate it. I'm like, darling, you're doing such a good job.
Good job, me.
And on my end, what this looks like is for so long, I tried to change my habits and behaviors, but I did it with shame and judgment. And that would just feed into a cycle. Because when I feel
you had to change to be worthy, and then if you didn't change or if you fell short, you were that much less worthy.
Then I was unworthy, and it just fed into the behavior because I would feel unworthy and I would feel unhappy, and the behaviors would provide a temporary relief. You know, the behaviors that the habits that I was trying to kick. The reason people get involved in addictions is because in the short term, addictions are awesome. Like whatever you're addicted to gives you something. And gives you that dopamine hit. It's the aftermath. That short term, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so for me, changing looked like instead of shaming and guilting myself, which just fed the cycle, looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I like that guy and I want to take care of him. He's my buddy, right? And looking after myself the way I look after our kids. Mm-hmm. That is what was really powerful for me.
So how can you create a non-judgmental witness state for yourself and do that in a soothing way, even if you need to address some painful things that aren't fun?
Well, I think the answer is number 2, which is kindness, which is offering support and care when we're in pain. The thing is, for a lot of people, especially with your healer personality types, we're very quick to give this to others, but not to ourselves. When pain happens, we suppress, we judge ourselves, and we go into problem solving. We do everything except for pause and breathe and just say, this is really hard, and I'm sorry you're going through this. The key for this is to ask yourself, if a loved one were going through this, what would you say? What would you do? How would you treat them? And then give that to yourself. Speaking of thinking of the pain of other people, it's important to recognize our common humanity so that we don't feel alone. That's number 3.
Yeah, so this is a component of self-compassion that I never thought of being tied to self-compassion previously. The last piece is common humanity, and to realize that often we feel isolated and alone in our suffering, that we're the only one going through this, and that is completely not true. Other people know what it's like to go through challenging experiences, to have a hard time raising a child, to go through a divorce, a loss, a death. We all know what it's like to feel pain and suffering. And if we isolate ourselves in our pain and suffering, we feel more alone. But if we can recognize, hey, I'm not alone here. I'm not the only person who experiences this. And if we can show ourselves love and compassion, and even if you're into meditation or anything like that, showing yourself that love and compassion and radiating that love and compassion out to any other person experiencing that hard and challenging time, it creates connection instead of isolation.
The truth is, you're not alone. Other people are going through something similar to what you're going through, and recognizing that can help you to reach out for help and to give help, both of which create connection and are essential for healing and self-compassion.
And something I love about practicing common humanity is when we do that, we take things less personally and we're able to create more connection and calm and peace in our life.
Did you find this video helpful? If so, I know what you're doing for the next 10 or 15 minutes. See yourself to see others.
Are you in it?
I'm in it.
Do they get to watch you?
Yes. Oh, joy of joys. It's right here. Partake of the juicy goodness. In this video, I talk about how seeing who you really are and treating yourself with compassion enables you to extend that to other people and connect with them. So until next time, folks, keep shining because
we need your light.